Well, hello, my friends. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to my channel. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. My name is Andre Lefevre, and I like to mouth off on things political, things cultural, things interesting. And I'm going to try something new, see if it can become a regular feature. I'm going to dissect the corporate-controlled news, the progressive news, the news of the people who believe in big global government and absolutely hate people like myself and you, the middle class. If you're a fellow traveler, I think you'll understand everything I say and probably know more. If you are a progressive liberal, I urge you to stay tuned. You may learn something yourself. I have a website, wildnews.us. I urge you to visit it, and let's get into it. I'm going to dissect the corporate control news. I'm going to start with the Bible. It is New York Times. Every news director, every news editor of the corporate control media always looks at what New York Times considers news and how they slant it, how they interpret it. That's what you will find. Most of the corporate control news are very uniform, very propagandistic. They're based upon the talking points. So, New York Times, a headline at 2:17 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm about 40 miles east of Los Angeles. On June 4th, 2018. Okay, the headline: Supreme Court backs Baker in case of rights of gay couple. If you remember, during the Obama regime, a baker, a very artistic person, refused to use his artistic abilities to make a cake for a gay wedding. And of course, he was run out of business because gays run supreme. And the fact that the Bible looks at homosexuality as a sin did not matter. Gays run supreme, and therefore he had to make a cake or be punished. So he was punished. Well, 7-2 Supreme Court affirmed our right to religious freedom. Now, if you read the article, you find out that the progressives go out of the way to tell us it's just this case and it wouldn't apply to others. Guess what, progressives? Yes, it will apply to others. It means that no longer Christian people or any religious person has to be afraid of you. Nobody have to worry about Nazi Gestapo of the progressive left coming in and arresting you and driving you out of business, leaving unspeakable fines, and maybe even imprisoning you for exercising your religion. That's gone. Now, let me say something. About the gays and the gay movement and homosexuality. I don't think homosexuality should be illegal. On the other hand, homosexuality and gay political movement have nothing in common. The gay political movement that made that abomination called gay marriage possible, done only for one reason: to destroy the whole institution of marriage. You may ask why. Well, the reason is really simple. It sticks in the progressive crow, in the Democratic Party crow, that married people can be loyal to each other and not to the big state. Because progressives believe in a small group of anointed people, power elites, children of wealthy parents, the trust fund kids, telling the rest of us what to do. And if you have a husband and wife are loyal to each other and taking care of their own children and raise them any which way they want and not the way the progressives want, it brings their blood to boil. That needs to be destroyed. And one of the tools they used to destroy a traditional family was gay marriage. By the way, I have to warn my gay friends. You practice a very interesting alternative lifestyle, a kink. What you do behind closed doors is your business. If behind closed doors you want to call yourselves anything you want, husband and wife, master and slave, I could care less. And I will protect your right to do anything you want behind closed doors, as long as it's between 2 consenting adults or 3 or 10 consenting adults. Not only it's none of my business, I will protect your right to make it nobody's business what you do. But what you have done, you destroyed a kink, a lifestyle that you enjoy very much, into a politically correct situation. Now, you, my gay friends, are subject to the progressive movement. You don't answer to yourself. You don't answer to your loved one. You answer to some faceless bureaucracy. If you support gay marriage, my gay friends, you don't support marriage between people of the same sex. No. You support ability of the big government to tell you what to do in your bedroom. Why don't you chew on that for a while? Anyway. All right, so we're moving on. Supreme Court rejects a bid to discipline ACLU. That was a sad case again under Obama regime, where Texas branch of ACLU used legal trickery to make sure an innocent underage teenager, legal immigrant, will get her baby murdered. Get an abortion. And Justice Department under Donald Trump tried to discipline the lawyers, and obviously Supreme Court rejected it. I'm surprised that this case went, this story went as the second most important story of the day. It just tells you what the progressives are afraid of. They need to have the genocide legal, genocide of unborn babies legal. How else they're going to control the population of blacks, poor whites, and other quote-unquote undesirables in their eyes. That's what Margaret Sanger, who was the one that pioneered the abortion movement in the United States, did. And their goals didn't change. By aborting babies, progressives want to be able to control our population. Next story. Trump tweet asserts an absolute right to pardon himself. Again, I think he's just playing with the liberals and progressives. They're all bent out of shape because it really shows them how stupid the Mueller probe is. Okay, so let's move on. So the next one is CNN. Let's see here. Court rules for baker and gay wedding cake. Yeah, we already went through that. Just shows how uniform they are. Let's see. Supreme Court decision in the masterpiece. Let's see what this is all about. Oh yeah, this is the same thing. This is the cake shop situation. There's nothing interesting. Trump has terrible phone call with Macron. Kind of laughable. BuzzFeed. Apple just introduced privacy controls allowing users to limit what data Facebook tracks. Let me tell you what that is all about. That actually has to do with the jungle primaries in California. In California, where I live and work, we have so-called jungle primaries. It is open primaries, and the top two candidates advance to the general election. Progressives in Democratic Party, excuse me, has created those rules to freeze out Republicans, libertarians, and Christian conservatives out of the process. Well, it's backfiring on them because right now the energy in California, counterintuitively, is among us, the freedom-loving people, the libertarians, conservatives, and Republicans. And it is possible that some of the districts are actually going to flip because none of the Democrats are used to campaigning. They're used to having their seats distributed to them because they've been gerrymandered. Well, social media changed everything. And without much of the National Party's support, Republicans, mavericks, are capable of communicating with like-minded people. So I'm very curious to see how the process will go, and I can't wait to vote tomorrow. Now, going back, why we're talking about Apple just introduced privacy controls, because of, don't believe any of it. Google and Facebook are calling Republican Party and conservatives and libertarians Nazis, and they're trying to suppress ability of the candidates who are on that political spectrum from effectively campaigning on the social media. I don't think it's working very well, and I think it's also backfiring is because, well, it's too crude. Everybody knows that libertarians and Christian conservatives are not Nazis. The opposite is true. Progressives are the true Nazis. Hitler was progressive. Mussolini was progressive. Communist Party was part of the progressive movement. As a matter of fact, former socialists and former communists have become Nazis and fascists in 1920s and 30s. The Christian conservatives were the victims of the Nazi, Mussolini, and communist regimes, not the other way around. Dinesh D'Souza wrote an excellent book, his last book, I believe, about the Big Lie, where after World War II, progressives and Democratic Party was able to flip the idea. Nazis and fascists did not believe in Christianity and did not believe in nuclear family. They believed in socialism, and they believed in the world, probably very similar to the Brave New World, and I urge everyone to read that particular book. All right, moving on. Huffington Post. Their headline, just what I was talking about, California primaries. California primary chaos risks midterm meltdown. Again, the progressives and Democrats are telling you what they're afraid of. They're afraid of that their well-designed strategy in freezing out libertarians and Republicans out of the offices in California is going to backfire on them, because it seems to be that our side uses social media much better than the lazy Democrats. And let's see. Last but not least, media matters. And let's see, right-wing media latest pathetic attempt to smear Google as leftist radicals. Yeah, they're responding to what I just said, is that the Nazi fascists of the progressive movement are trying to stifle the free exchange of ideas on the internet. Let's see if they have anything else. Okay, the main story on the Media Matters. Sunday shows ignore Puerto Rico amid new study that nearly 5,000 people died as a result of Hurricane Maria. Let me tell you something. Hurricane Maria was a huge tragedy. But what has happened is that as Trump administration took its office, the liberal progressive saboteurs denied help to Puerto Rico after that devastating earthquake. And it wasn't because they were only mean. Of course, it was mean and just a very unexcusable way to go about it. There is a strategy behind it, because the Democrats want to drive as many Puerto Ricans out of their state and into Florida, hoping that they can flood Florida with Puerto Ricans who reliably vote Democratic, and flip the state Democratic. So that's the only purpose why we're talking about Puerto Rico and lack of the government response there. Well, progressives, a Democratic Party, the deep state did that on purpose, to drive as many Puerto Ricans to Florida so they will flip the state. Folks, I appreciate you tuning into my channel. Please visit my website, wildnews.us. As you can see, I have buttons for GoFundMe and Patreon. I appreciate any and all donations. God bless you guys. Bye-bye.